Harry. Stability at the club, obviously. You had that with Arsene Wenger for so many years, and Unai Emery came in, and look, I still think he's a very, very good manager.
Agreed.
Not the correct fit happens sometimes, doesn't it? Arteta, though, I think he's just proven a lot of people wrong. People like myself and Jeremy, I think, would agree, and I think Rory probably still is under the thing that he's not a good manager. I think he's proven a lot of people right that he is a good. The table doesn't lie. This is what I like about the Premier League. At the end of the season, it's not like cup games. At the end of the season, you look how many points you've got, and that will tell you whether or not you've got a decent manager. And I look at the point tally right now, and he's 1 point behind Thomas Tuchel. Everyone was telling me Thomas Tuchel's in the same league as Guardiola and Klopp.
Yeah, and he's got a weaker squad and a smaller squad
all right,
than Thomas Tuchel has at his disposal as well. It's true, though. It's true. Look, I think that the good thing that Mikel Arteta has done is he's managed to ride through what was a really difficult start, because he came in sort of halfway through the season. He won the FA Cup, and from then on, the expectations just shot up, and really they shouldn't have. People should have realised and acknowledged what a difficult job he had on his hands if he was indeed, as he promised he would at the start, going to rip things out, start again, fix the culture and fix everything that was broken at Arsenal Football Club. He's done a fantastic job of that. He's made big calls, big, bold decisions that other managers wouldn't have made.
No.
And he's done that because he knows that the club are backing him. He feels that he can do that. He felt last season that he could get away with that 8th place finish, as long as he continued to show that he was working towards what he promised. And he did that. It wasn't good. Nobody liked it. Nobody enjoyed finishing 8th last season. But then at the start of this season, again, everybody was writing us off again. Everybody was talking about the summer window being a bad window, that we hadn't signed anybody that was going to change our fortunes. And in fact, the majority of those signings have worked out really, really well.
What was the biggest one? Look, think of it now. Is it Ramsdale? Is it White? What would you say was the biggest summer signing?
I think for me, they've all played their part. But I think for me, the biggest one was Martin Odegaard.
Okay,
I mean,
yes, right, yeah.
To bring him in on a permanent deal at such a young age with so much experience for £30 million was an absolute steal. It was a bargain. And I remember last summer getting a lot of criticism for saying, no, we should stick with Odegaard rather than Maddison.
Like try before you buy, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that's exactly it. Yeah. Like, Mikel Arteta brought him in. He had a good look at him. He understood what he was all about on the training pitch, in match situations, but also what he's like as a character. Do not underestimate how important character is to Mikel Arteta in his decisions and the way he decides who's a good fit and who's not.
People accuse your team of lacking.
Yeah, for sure.
Characters, leaders, it was, and rightly so, I think, at times as well.
Yeah, for sure. We've got people there that are committed now. We've got people there that are on board. As Mikel would say, they're on the ship, as he likes to put it. And we've got people that are on the fringes and on the peripheries, the likes of Rob Holding, Mohamed El Neni, who he's managed to keep engaged.
Mohamed El Neni in the last 2 months has almost changed into something else, isn't he?
Well, he's managed to keep those players engaged despite them not having much game time, and coach them in a way where they've become more effective than they've ever been under Emery or under Wenger. So he's done a good job with those guys as well. It's not just the players that have come in. The ones that were already there are performing at a much better level. There's a system, there's a style, and from time to time, our inexperience is going to cost us, and it has. But, to be in with a shout of finishing, to be in pole position, actually, to finish in the top 4 at this point in the season.
Incredible.
More than anyone thought.
Incredible. And look, we might dig out a clip where me and Rory were laughing, saying you guys could be almost where Everton are. I'm not joking. We kind of both said Arsenal could finish between 16th and 8th. That's kind of, and we were having a serious conversation about it. So for you to be in a position where you're going to finish 4th, and for an Arsenal fan perspective, you touch wood, that happens, is incredible. I think he showed he's got a lot of kahunas by doing what he did as a young manager. This is his first managerial position. For doing what he did with Aubameyang, when I don't know many managers in the Premier League that would do that. I know Guardiola did it with Aguero, so he's been around that. So he's experienced it, obviously him being second to Guardiola. But to do that when you're not scoring goals, arguably your best player at the club, to say, no, we're not accepting your behaviour off the field and you're not playing, get out of the club, and it's now worked for him, is incredible. Yeah,
and that's someone that can clearly see the bigger picture and the impact and the effect that what Aubameyang was doing was having on the dressing room and the damage that it could potentially do. It takes someone that has a real clear idea of what he wants to make a decision and a call like that. And now you can see why the club have shown so much faith in him. He's obviously sold to them what his vision is, and they're on board with it. And so they're going to back him and they're going to support him, and rightly so. I think as well, the other thing as a fan, speaking from a purely fan perspective, that connection that he's recreated between the fans and the players and the club in general, that's something he deserves a lot of credit for. I mean, you go to the Emirates now and it's buzzing.
Not many booze. Remember before?
There's none of that anymore.
Wouldn't
yeah. There was a little bit of
anxiety. Will be out.
There was a little bit of anxiety at the end of the Leeds game because we know that we're so close to achieving something, and obviously we were fearful of throwing that away. But that connection, that buzz inside the stadium, and the way I think he's taken on that sort of piece as not just a football manager, but like he's taken on like a role that Wenger kind of did in the past, where he's all encompassing and he's having an impact in every sort of area. So I think you've got to give him immense credit.
Roll on next season. Like, if you do get Champions League, the squad has to be a lot thicker. Has to be better. You mentioned you've got some good players there, but there is a lot of inexperience. A lot of these players, I can't think of maybe 3 or 4 of your players that have played Champions League football. So a lot of them,
probably 3 or 4. And
that's right. Off top of the head. So you are going to need to add additions to it. We just spoke at the top of the show about Gabriel Jesus, which is interesting. It's a striker I didn't really think about for some reason. Would you want him at the club if?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's been a number of reports over the last few weeks suggesting that talks with Gabriel Jesus' representatives and Edu have been going on for a few months.
The Brazilian connection.
There's that Brazilian connection, but there's also the Mikel Arteta connection.
Oh yeah.
Remember all of these players, all of these players that we're talking about, at Manchester City that we've been linked with. Raheem Sterling's another one. I don't think that's going to happen. But these guys have worked under Mikel Arteta. They know what he's all about. They clearly believe in what he's doing, and I believe that Gabriel Jesus will end up at Arsenal this summer.
Sterling an Arsenal fan?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think London boy. I was thinking, what club does Sterling support?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I just...
QPR? Okay, maybe, actually, having come for their youth ranks.
Yeah, I just think with somebody like Gabriel Jesus, he would fit our system really well. He's someone who's clearly got a lot of ability, and with Haaland coming in at Manchester City, will probably feel like his game time's going to be limited.
Yeah, and we've seen him now with a run of games he's had in City in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. He's scoring goals.
Yeah.
Scoring goals, his pace. I just want to see more, but then I look at his goal scoring record and it's good. So it's one of those players that you think he's not doing anything, but then you look at his stats, and I hate that word, but you look at it and it's impressive. And I think he could be a really good sign. Always fit, rarely injured.
Yeah.
He's in the Brazilian squad as well, so that connection with Martinelli's there. So that so he's going to a place where he knows a few people already, and I think it'd be a good signing. It won't be cheap.
No, he won't be. But that's why we're sort of so desperate to get into the Champions League, because it's not just what it does for you on the pitch, it's what it does for you off the pitch. I do believe that regardless of if we finish in the top 4 or not, the club will back Mikel Arteta again in the summer.
They have to.
I think they'll do a similar amount of money to what they did last summer. I think they'll go for 4 or 5 players now of a higher caliber as opposed to...
You have the money for Vlahovic, so there's money there.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. And I think there's money there as long as they all buy in and believe that the addition they're looking to make is the right addition. And I think that Gabriel Jesus ticks a lot of boxes.
What else do you need additions?
I think we need another central midfielder. I think we
can't rely on Partey.
No, you can't rely on him to be fit. And again, David Ornstein reported yesterday that talks with Youri Tielemans' representatives are quite far down the line. So when you think about
That's crazy. Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest here. If you were to have told me last year Arsenal were linked to Tielemans and Jesus, I would have probably laughed at you. You're not getting those players. You're not, are you? Tielemans was linked with Liverpool and Man United.
Yeah.
Jesus would probably go somewhere, maybe to Barcelona or something. It shows the improvements that these players are now seriously linked with the club.
It shows the improvements, but it also shows that the club have become a little bit more shrewd. Because what they've done is they've identified players and they're looking to take advantage of their situations. Jesus' situation at City when Haaland arrives is very different. So we're trying to take advantage of that. Tielemans is going into the final year of his contract, which means you can drive the price down with Leicester City. We're looking to take advantage of that.
Agent right now.
Well, no, it just feels like, when I said earlier on that I feel like the contract was given or announced, it was already agreed for a while, but it was announced at that point. It was to start getting all this stuff in order. And I do believe when the window opens, the clearing of the decks in January that was already done means we can go out and do our business quickly, sharply, and get the players we want.
You love this, right?
I'm buzzing. I love it. Loads.
Absolutely. I remember we used to get you on the phone after defeat.
I was like, oh, here we go.
The phone was always busy. Now he's in the studio.
Engaged.
All right, you're listening to The Social on talkSPORT2. Next up, we've mentioned him a lot so far. We're going to be talking about Erling Haaland.